Hello and welcome to We Never Met, the podcast where I talk to interesting strangers every week. Today we have an interesting stranger, Eric. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So you, first of all, I mean, you do like 800 things, it seems like.
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate.
I mean, close to that though.
Yeah.
It has to be. Because you have your own business now. You are a streamer. You do that. You have a podcast now as well, which I think is under your business too.
Yep.
But so first of all, I guess just give everyone kind of a summary of like what you do on a daily basis.
Yeah, so I am co-founder of Misfit Ventures, which is the umbrella company of currently IEEG and MK Misfits. I'm sure by the time this episode releases, then we will have announced our Strange on Purpose Studios, which is going to be our podcast studio as well. So
Nice.
people can come in, rent that out. We're going to kind of host some quirky, weird podcasts underneath that umbrella. But essentially, it's an umbrella that holds those three entities. So all of us are kind of all over the place because, you know, maybe we're pushing an event, like we're about to announce a few events happening in May and June, I believe. So then there's that. And then, okay, all of our client work, which is our agency side of IEEG, which is, you know, the Admiral's moral code, stuff like that. So all of that content that gets for clients. And then Strange and Purpose Studios will be our podcast umbrella, and that'll
much
be fun
stuff.
too. So and that's just on the surface, you know. There's all sorts of miniature things that go on underneath those. Yeah, so
because you're young. How old are you?
25.
25. You're younger than me. And people always still comment about how young I am.
Right.
So like when you first started your business and like going down this route, was that something that you had to like overcome? Was like an age thing?
Yeah, I never once thought age was an issue because like for me it was never, age never dictated for me how good or bad I was at something.
Right.
And I think even 50-year-olds that start businesses for the first time have a lot to learn and do learn a lot.
Right.
So like there's always something that people are learning no matter what age you are. So for me and for all of us, I mean, I'm the oldest at 25, you know, within the company.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so age is not really an issue for us. And we don't intentionally hire young. We don't intentionally not hire older. It's just we find the right fit culture-wise, most importantly.
Right.
And then we know that we all have a lot to learn. So we're okay teaching people that come in how to work within our idea and how can we help them grow within that so that we can help them grow more importantly, but then they can learn those skills and apply that to what we do.
Right. And like for me, I think the hardest thing would be like, I guess, even just starting this. So like where did the initial idea come from to pursue this with the people that you did?
Yeah, so Q initially was the one that had the idea, and he had tried it with a few other people in the past, but it just kind of dissolved. It didn't really work out like he had hoped. So he kind of was just doing LinkedIn consulting, things like that, under his own company that he ran. And then he had the idea, followed me on Twitter for a while, and we met at a networking event nearby. And he was like, let's sit down, let's talk. I've been following you for a while. I have this idea. So then we sat down. And I just told them yesterday, I said, you know, there's no way that without your kindness, your grace, that we would be here today, because what we sat down and talked about, there's no way that he couldn't have and shouldn't have charged me for that time. And there's no way I would have said, okay, because I didn't have that money at the time. So I am always grateful for that, because that, you know, led us to this point. And, you know, within that, we found Brema, and we actually hired Brema to do video for Q and I at the time. And Q and I were like, he's really good, and we really like him. Let's bring him on too. I'll need a little help shooting, you know, every so often. And then he knew Izzy from college, and he's like, listen, we got to sell too, right? So let's bring on Izzy. He sells, you know, ketchup to people with white gloves and all that. And and here we are. So it's the four of us. We're now a team of 12, and everybody's just as much a part of the team as the next. Yeah,
because that it's just crazy that it all kind of happened so it seems like quickly.
Yeah.
Before that though, or maybe this is even during, you are very like big on LinkedIn video specifically. Was that a conscious choice for you to like start there?
So that was actually when Q and I did first meet. He was like, look, you make videos. You're okay in front of a camera. You stream on Twitch. Make a LinkedIn video. And I'm like, what? Like, what is, come on. Like, that's a resume platform. That's a business platform. I don't wear a suit and tie. I'm wearing one suit in my life, and that was a rental for my sister's wedding, right? I've never worn a suit outside of that, right? I don't either. So I was like, why? And he's like, just trust me. So we went outside. We actually met at the Rochambeau nearby. And we walked down a couple streets and we recorded a few takes of it, but I uploaded it, 5,000 views the next morning.
That's
I'm
crazy.
Like, okay, I see what you're getting at. Because like I've made content for a decade now, right?
Right.
YouTube doesn't provide that kind of interaction. Twitch doesn't even.
Yeah.
On a good day, you know, like Twitter, like Instagram, whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing matched that.
Yeah.
So I was intrigued. So I made another video the next day, and then another video the next day, and then it was the weekend. So then I made videos those days, and then it turns out I'm like, okay, so what if I stockpile? Because I knew I had to work. I was traveling at the time for work. Yeah. I'm like, I know that I had to work, so I just stockpiled these videos, right? And I ended up doing 90 days straight of just straight LinkedIn content, and because of that, Q was then like, I've never seen somebody commit to this like you did.
Yeah,
and he saw. I don't want to say that it was like a purposeful trial, but it was kind of like him. Testing me out a little bit.
See if you would actually commit.
Is this guy serious about this? And if he is, well, then let's make it happen. And then he approached me and like, yo, let's do this.
So the content you're making for LinkedIn obviously is more business oriented, right? I mean,
half and half.
Half and half.
Yeah.
Do people respond to it in a similar way as other platforms? Because I mean, you have, you know, you made videos on YouTube and all that and stream stuff. Is it a different? I'm sure it is a different audience and different like.
It is
temperament, I guess.
I think like. Part of what we preach and everything that we do, and part of our kind of aura as a brand and as a business is just we are authentically us. Yeah. So for me, I learned how to do that through streaming on Twitch and through making YouTube videos. So it was really easy to just kind of make the content. I didn't really have to put on a different face. I didn't really have to put on a different, you know, atmosphere around my content. I just essentially, instead of making a 10-minute YouTube video, I took that content and just talked for a minute and a half. Yeah. Or, you know, a lot of it initially was like I was one of the first phases, as I like to call them, of people that joined on LinkedIn Video. And I was one of the first that actually knew how to use a professional camera. So that was kind of a new thing. So a lot of it was me teaching video techniques initially. Like, hold your, you know, nobody wants to look up your nose. Nobody wants to, you know, make sure you're not, the open window is not behind you. Just weird things like that. And that got me a lot of traction initially because people didn't know. They just thought they could just pull their phone out and whatever happened, right? It was the message. But then I was kind of the first one to be like, but it can be more than that.
Right. It can be better.
Yeah, and challenge a lot of people. So I don't think I really changed me and what I made, but more so just the direction of I knew who I was about to approach and I knew what I wanted to get back. So I think really that was the most important thing.
Yeah, because so did you start out streaming? Is that like what you did from the beginning as far as content?
My first YouTube video was a guitar cover of Vampires by Godsmack. I've been looking for it for a long time. I know it's still out there, but I forget what the username of that channel was. So I've been looking for it for like a month and a half now. You didn't
unlist it or like anything
it's
like
still
that?
public. Like I know I've seen it. I just forgot what that username was. I want to be a guitarist and then want to be like when Machinima was big and there was like Sark C-Nanners and stuff. I want to be part of that team. And that was long ago already at this point, but that's what got me into YouTubing and being a YouTuber and Call of Duty commentaries and things like that. But I was so boring back then. Like I can say that now, not intentionally. I didn't know what to do. Right. I thought that just any talking over a Call of Duty commentary
was good enough.
Right. Yeah. And luckily, knowing now I wasn't mature enough then, so I'm glad that it didn't work out because I would have fallen on my face, which would have been a good thing, but didn't maybe need that lesson at that time. So from there, I kind of pivoted here and there, did a few different things, started streaming on Twitch because I'm like, if I'm going to just play video games and I'm spending all of this time of my life playing video games, why don't I just do it live and do it for a purpose? Yeah. And I thought that I was just playing video games live and having fun, but what I didn't realize was I was building charisma, I was building social skills, which I was kind of an outcast in school, so I didn't really learn those things. But then within Twitch and stream, I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then I started to build a presence and I started to sell myself and got affiliates and sponsors. I'm like, okay, I'm really starting to see how this snowballs. Yeah, because I mean, like even talking to you right now, like you have all that for sure. So it's like that was an essential part, I'm sure, of becoming who you are. Okay, after all that, and you kind of you met these guys and you started creating content. What was the building of the actual business like? Because I think, you know, especially for a business that's really centered around media, you know, you guys could have gone every different way. We still can. Yeah, exactly. So how did you kind of narrow down your idea of like, okay, we're going to go after this or do this? Was it just people that came to you, or was it more of an intentional choice? It was both. I think so. Initially, when Q and I first sat down, the idea was to travel the world and interview people and sponsor their stories.
Okay.
So that was that's obviously not what's happening now, but
maybe
a lot of that still falls into what we do, just on a much smaller level. Like for a lot of our clients, we're interviewing people and we're pulling their story, and we're finding out interesting ways to pull their stories out, and interesting ways to give people that are watching or listening a way to see that person in a way that isn't just, all right, where are you from? Stuff that you can find in their resume, on their LinkedIn profiles, right? That's everybody gets that. So that for us was always a big point. And I guess kind of answering that, like, that's what we wanted to focus on. So for us, it was never like a question as to what to do. A lot. I would say probably 95% of our clients so far have been inbound or just, old relationships that we just brought over, essentially.
Yeah, because the second person that I had on this podcast, I found because of you guys, actually, Josh Arter, who you guys did a video on. And did you shoot that video, by the way?
Brahma did.
Okay.
Yep.
That video is incredible. Like, I mean, all the content you guys put out is incredible.
Thank you.
So I guess flipping it to like a more personal note, you as a person, your dad recently went through cancer.
Yep.
And he is in remission now, right?
Yep. Officially in remission.
How was that experience for you, and how did that reflect what you did, I guess, in life? Because I feel like having someone that close to you that went through something as, traumatic and scary, as that.
Very much.
Did it change how you looked at your business, or
change how I look at life?
Yeah.
Because I always tell people, like, I shouldn't be where I am today in many different ways, because like between building a business, which is not easy, having your dad go through cancer, which is also not easy, and then having a fiance that lives a country away is also not easy. So like all those things were happening at the same time, right? And the good thing was the people that are in all three of those places are people that I love, people that I care about and care about me. Yeah. So it was always just everybody that I impacted and everybody that impacted me there was never any doubt, right? Like my dad never once, we were blessed because he was given a very positive outlook from day one. There was never like really any doubt looking back at it that he would pass from it. So we did have that positive outlook, but again,
it's
you hear
cancer,
that word.
It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And there are people that do what he's, have passed from what he's had because they just don't follow the program or whatever the case. So, I mean, like, this is not a cold, right? This is cancer.
Exactly.
Do what they tell you to do, for goodness sake. So he did everything by the book. We supported him as a family. It was crazy because, like, I think he was in the hospital for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
No, couldn't have been 3 weeks, maybe somewhere in that range. Every day I would go drive back up, pick mom up, bring her back down, because he was at St. Luke's, kind of 20 minutes south of here yet even. And every day we went down. Maybe a few days we missed because he was tired, we were tired, whatever the case was. But it wasn't a question of if or what, or it was just, we're just going to do it.
Right.
And that influenced the business, and everybody at the business was like, dude, man, go. Like, take care of that. Like, we're going to be okay. And even now we've recently implemented like mental health days. If you just need a day where you just need your space, take that day, take your space. It will help you in the long term. It'll help us in the long term. And we've just all implemented things like that. So really, like, I wouldn't be here without the people that I surround myself with, guaranteed. Yeah.
Cause I mean, that's another thing. You're engaged to someone who lives in Canada, right? First of all, how did you guys meet if she's up there?
Yeah. So I used to want to be a graphic designer. That's what I initially went to school for. So I was just on Instagram looking up people to do design work for and just build my portfolio. No intent of anything. Yeah. She wanted a Twitch banner. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I was talking to her, got it done, and I was like, yeah, she's kind of cute too. Let's just keep that. Let's just keep the conversation going. And happy to say, everything's going fantastic. We have been in person or on Skype every day, nonstop, since August 7th, 2014.
Jeez. That is a long time.
Every single day. Not one day we've been, and we're still not sick of each other. We still love each other more every day.
Wow. Yeah. So has it been tough though, still, like trying to figure out, because you're not going to Canada, I'm presuming, right?
No, she's coming here, and it was her choice. Yeah. I said, I'm not making that choice, but I'm not saying no if you want to come here, sort of thing. So she was very adamant on wanting to come here, and I'm like, all right, let's make it happen. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
So it is absolutely hard, because right now we're in the process of waiting for her paperwork to get to the consulate in Canada.
Okay.
And I emailed we're going through a law firm, and I emailed just to check in, and I got an instant bounce back. I'm in the hospital through a medical emergency. We'll get back. And it's like, now we gotta wait. I hope you're okay, but gosh darn it, now we gotta wait.
Yeah,
so it's just constant stress. And, again, I couldn't be going through with anybody else. We support each other in every way. And we've taken the time online to learn about each other. Yeah. And I always tell people, there's obviously, we'll be together forever, but for whatever reason, hypothetically speaking, I couldn't have a local relationship. I've learned so much about her by being apart and having to learn, okay, if you're having a bad day, how do I comfort you from afar? Yeah. And those are things that you can apply to anything, if somebody is struggling at work, how do we rally around them? How do we do that? If she's having a bad day, okay, what can I do? Do I come home a little bit early? Do I push some things aside for a little bit? That will always be a better choice than whatever it is you're working on.
Right. Is it a super long process, or is it just a fact of there's a lot of forms and stuff?
June of 17, and we applied 7 months ago, I think, at this point. So it's just a lot of waiting, and there's you just don't know. Here it is. 6 months, 2 years, they say. It could be one, could be the other, could be anything in between. So it's just a lot of waiting.
So with your business, is it weird to have employees? Because you have employees now, right? Mm-hmm. So how did you just learn kind of by going through it? Is payroll and all that stuff
I thought it would be really weird, really difficult, but we don't look at anybody as an employee. Even people that are theoretically interns, they're just as much a part of the team as anybody else. So every day, every meeting, we encourage everybody to pitch in their opinions. Nobody's there just to do what they're doing and then leave. We're there together to build it together, to work together, to grow their brands, to grow our brands outside of the business even, and then to work together to just grow the brand into whatever we can.
Yeah, because it's all helpful. It's all cyclical. Yeah. If they're bigger, and they're bringing that back to you guys too.
And I just want to it's for me personally, it's about creating that environment, right? Mm-hmm. I'm noticing people starting to come in and instantly take their shoes off. That makes me happy. I don't know why that's such a weird point to make, but that makes me happy because I know that we've created a space that they feel comfortable in and that they want to work in. Yeah. So it's everybody, a lot of our interns that that time, the 3 month initial period is worn off and we're like, yeah, we like you around. You want to keep coming back? Yeah. Well, then just keep coming back, man. We're not going to say, whatever, we'll make it happen. Yeah. So it's awesome to be able to inspire those around me and get that same amount of inspiration back. Yes, I am a co-founder. Yes, I have, quote unquote automatic authority, but that's not how we look at it. We just want to help everybody as much as we can.